Okay everyone, we're going to be replacing that seal I talked about, like in the other side of this 1974 F-250. This is a Dana 60 rear-end out of a 1987 F-250, and we're going to replace the seal by removing this axle on this side. Alright, now you need a special socket to remove the wheel bearing nut to pull the hub out. And a reminder, the one on the driver's side is left-hand thread. And we have a bad nut. So we'll have to replace that. Now, on that nut there, the gear just happened to slip out. Just put that back together and we're good to go when we go to put it back together. With a little bit of persuasion, just with a little pry bar, it's no big deal. To pull that apart then, and then get us to the old seal. Okay, after having everything removed to get the hub off, now we need to get the seal out of here. And previous owner must have packed this all with grease, which this is an oil bath rear. So you want to prop it up on 2 blocks and then just take like a 2x2 piece of wood. Just pound it out. And there we go. It's the original seal yet. Maybe I'll leave the grease in there. But there's original seal. Bearing looks to be in good shape. I think I'll leave that grease on. Looks pretty good. Now, you want to clean this up somewhat here. Now we want a little bit of lubricant here, gear oil. I have 80W 90 gear oil, and we're just gonna take and lube this all up. I'll leave that grease in there because it doesn't look like it's that old. And then you'll see this here says, if the camera will pick that up, air side on there, and you want that just like this. Have your bearing back in, have that lubed up, and with just a little bit of force of your hands, shove that in there, and then make sure it seats. Rubber mallet, and then set that to the side. And now what we want to do, camera a little closer, we want to get this surfaced here all cleared of any debris for the seal to seat back on. This one here actually looks pretty clean compared to the other side. Just a little wiping off and I think it'll be fine. Take our hub. We just slide it back on. Since there's a little bit of grease on this, I'm gonna leave that go. Put a little bit of gear oil on with it. Slide our bearing back in. You want to make sure you have plenty of gloves, or have gloves on like I have on here. It's a pretty messy job. And lots of rags. So now we take our nut, clean that all up. Now this being the driver's side, there's a little, the other side has it too, this little pin here. You have to line up at the top part. There's a notch inside the housing here. Get that lined up. I have to remind myself that it's left-handed thread. So, in the old saying, lefty loosey, righty tighty, but this case, lefty tighty, righty loosey. Here our click nut clicking. All we need to do is make this snug. So I'll tighten it up and check it, and maybe just back it off a little bit. Alright. So now we want to make sure this O-ring right here, just wiped it off with a rag. And just make sure it's not tore or anything like that. And what I do, a little bit of gear oil, lube it up good, and then just slide it back in. And now and make sure there's no debris or anything on the bolts. These look pretty good. Snug up all our bolts here. Okay, now all we have to do slide the drum back on. Make sure they're studs are all lined up. There we are, good to go. And the last thing to mention, after completing this, you want to get underneath the truck with the truck being level and take the plug out and top off the oil that you may have lost. Now this I had already done the other side, so oil had already came out, so I will have to crawl underneath there and take the plug out and check the level and top it off with some 80/90 gear oil. And thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. This is GMAC. Thanks.